Greetings, Greeks. This one might be a little bit sort of rambly and more of a storytelling than a specific lesson, maybe. And I may create follow-up videos with more maybe solidified examples of this concept. But what I want to talk about right now is something written by Marcus Aurelius in his philosophical book called Meditations. If you haven't read them, I would suggest that it's a cool thing to read the words of a philosopher, emperor, or whatever. But one of the things that he said, translated, is the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Said another way, the obstacle is the way. The thing that you think is in the way becomes the way through maybe corrected thinking, let's say. So you have something that's in the way, something that you see as the problem that needs to be solved or removed so that you can continue on, when in fact, if you backed up and thought about the situation differently, the obstacle actually provides great opportunities for self-improvement, for learning, for development in you or your children. And as an example, and hopefully I'll come up with better examples to use for this in the future, but I just wanted to get this created for now and we can improve later, is I wanted to talk about my son's experience playing Minecraft. Right now he's in a heavy Minecraft phase. He is into all things Minecraft, and he loves nothing more than me playing Minecraft with him as we slay the Ender Dragon and defeat castles full of bad guys and stuff like that. I mean, it's one of his greatest loves in life right now. And it's important. This is a different topic for another video, but it is critical that you get involved in the things that your kids like. And luckily I'm a gamer myself, so it wasn't really difficult for me to sit down and be interested in playing Minecraft with my son. Unfortunately, my son hasn't played sort of like the survival crafting games where you sort of interact with and cooperate with other people much ever, because he's, young. He hasn't had that opportunity yet. So he has no real idea how to cooperate and how and when is appropriate to share resources that you've worked to acquire, and when is appropriate to respect other people's sort of quote unquote property. And he was very, very frustrating to play with for a while. There were times when I just stopped playing and said, "Well, I don't want to play this with you anymore because blah, blah, blah." And I would just stop and he would be really sad. And again, I'm being genuine and honest with him, just like I would talk to any other adult, like, man, I'm just not having fun playing with you, so I'm going to stop for a while. And it's important to have that open communication and to not be harsh or be like, you suck, I don't want to play with you anymore. Be like, hey, it really just makes this game not very much fun for me when you take my stuff without asking, or you I don't know, blow up the house that I just spent, an hour building, let's say, just to give you examples. And so there was this obstacle that made me not want to interact with him in this way. And it turns out that was a mistake. It turns out that obstacle was not only not a problem, it was the method to teach him a lot of lessons that I have had no other real means to teach him, because there's not really anything else in life that I'm interacting with on that sort of equal resource sharing level yet. He's not really old enough to have his own resources in that way yet. So suddenly this thing that was the obstacle that made me not want to spend time with him, once I just reconfigured my thought and said, and started slowing down and talking to him and being like, hey, son, you have your stuff and I have my stuff, and I work for my stuff and you work for your stuff. And when we want, we can share things with each other if we choose to. I can give you stuff and you can give me stuff. But the rest of the time, like, you can't just take my stuff, and I promise I will never take your stuff. And so anyway, that's just one example of many lessons that I was able to teach him through playing with him in this cooperative meeting of the equal minds game, Minecraft. It was really cool. And so through working through those problems, instead of me just walking away to go do something else, he is, I wouldn't say he's finished yet, but he is learning how to cooperate, how to share and how to not share, and how to work hard for things when you want something and not just depend on everybody to give it to you. And he's learning tons and tons of lessons. The obstacle was the way, because now that we have not just tried to eliminate the problem by walking away or walking around the obstacle, we made the obstacle the way. He's becoming much more fun to play with. Now it's more fun. Now I want to play with him because we have fun when we do. Also, other things like because he still doesn't have the frontal lobe capacity yet. I talk about this in the video on like hypervisors, for example. He doesn't have the ability to sort of interrupt intense moments of emotion and think critically, or pull himself out of those emotional feedback loops that he gets in. When bad things happen in the game, it's an instant emotional trigger and frustrator for him, and it often, not constantly, but it often locks him into the emotional feedback loop of frustration, anger, sadness, sorrow, crying, etc. And again, through me playing with him instead of walking away, I am able to share in those moments with him, and I am able to snap him out of it and talk him through this stuff and be with him through this, teaching him how to better handle this stuff on his own. So the lesson I wanted to teach with these weird Minecraft examples was that when you have one of these obstacles that is causing you to detach from your children for some reason, try maybe backing up and looking at it from a different way and pushing through it. Find a way you can transform that obstacle into the best way for you guys to move forward together, because I think you might be surprised at how often that's a thing. Okay, so I'll leave it there, and if I come up with better examples, I will definitely create follow-on videos to this. And if you have good examples of when the impediment to action ended up being the way to advance action, let us know in the comments, and we can talk about it and learn from each other. Thanks, guys.